Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
We're back for another episode of Outlaws and Gunslingers with your host Bang and Dang, and we're covering something that, well, when we're recording it, we're one day from the 25th anniversary of it. So big deal, actually. Didn't even realize that till now. 25th anniversary of the Centennial Olympic Park bombing, which, if you're American, which I'm sure you are if you're listening to this American history show. Everybody remembers the Centennial Olympic Park bombing. Olympics, obviously, big deal. Atlanta. And I think more people probably have known more about it since the release of that Richard Jewell movie by Clint Eastwood a couple years back. Shown some new light on it and all that. So, here to know how we roll. We're going to go through all that, what happened, and, of course, tracking down the suspect and all the bad stuff they did to Richard Jewell.
the FBI is terrible.
Dude, of course they are.
That's ridiculous, man.
CIA, there was all of those guys that did everything.
Goodness.
Sad. Centennial bombing was a domestic terrorist pipe bombing attack on the Olympic Park in Atlanta, Georgia, obviously July 27, 1996. During the Summer Olympics, it was only like a couple days in, too.
Yep.
The blast directly killed one person and injured 111 others. That's crazy. It only killed one person. Another person later died of a heart attack. It was.
I don't know if you can. Could you link that to that?
Well, we'll see why he died. It was the first of 4 bombings committed by Eric Rudolph. Meanwhile, security guard Richard Jewell discovered the bomb before detonation and began clearing spectators out of the park. And we're about to see how they did him dirty and ruined his life for a hot minute there.
This guy's doing the deed, and FBI's like, no.
Doing the deed saved hundreds of lives, probably.
They thought they can just hurry up and get a quick. Yep, this is him.
It was the Olympics, so the whole world,
Right, was
literally
watching.
the whole world, was about what the hell's going on here.
Right. FBI's like, we got our guy. Don't worry.
Right. No need to alarm.
Atlanta. It was selected 18th September 1990 in Tokyo, Japan, after Athens, Belgrade, Manchester, Melbourne, and Toronto at the 96th IOC session. The city entered the competition as a dark horse, being up against stiff competition. Yeah, Atlanta wasn't all that great.
Stiff.
That's probably one of the worst.
Yeah, I don't even know why Atlanta would have been considered, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The U.S. media also criticized it as a second-tier city and complained of Georgia's Confederate history. Oh, jeez.
They were doing that shit even back then, dude.
Oh, jeez. However, the IOC Evaluation Commission ranked Atlanta's infrastructure and facilities the highest, while IOC members said that it could guarantee large television revenue similar to the success of the 1984 Olympics in L.A. Yeah, because you got Turner Broadcasting.
Yeah, you got all that down there. Coca-Cola headquarters are in Atlanta. I mean, obviously, you got a lot of commerce and
Ted
shit
Turner
down
was
there.
like, you better come over here, guys.
CNN's headquarters are there, yeah. Additionally, former U.S. ambassador to the UN and Atlanta Mayor Andrew Jackson Young touted Atlanta's civil rights history and reputation for racial harmony. Not sure what that has to do with the Olympics, but whatever. Young also wanted to showcase a reformed American South. The strong economy of Atlanta and improved race relations in the South helped to impress the IOC officials. The Atlanta Committee for the Olympic Games, known as ACOG, also proposed a substantial revenue sharing with the IOC, the USOC, and other NOCs.
I see.
Atlanta's main rivals were Toronto, whose front-running bid that began in '86 had chances to succeed after it held a successful 1988 Olympics in Calgary. That's we got the Jamaican bobsled team. And Melbourne, Australia, who hosted the 1956 Summer Olympic Games. And after Brisbane, Australia's failed bid for the 92 Games, which went to Barcelona.
Yeah, Barcelona.
And prior to Sydney's successful 2000 Summer Olympic bids. That would be Toronto's 4th failed attempt since 1960. And all were defeated, once by Rome, once by Tokyo, and once by Montreal.
Wasn't there a one in Toronto not too long ago?
Toronto has never held one,
No?
I believe. Why the hell would anybody want to go to Toronto? It's like the Detroit of Canada.
Where the hell anybody want to go to Atlanta?
It's like the Detroit of the South.
of Georgia. Greece, the home of the ancient and first modern Olympics, was considered by observers the natural choice for the Centennial Games, which it should have been.
100 years.
All right. However, Athens bid chairman Cyprus Metaxa demanded that it be named as a site of the Olympics because of its historical right due to its history.
That doesn't make sense. It's our historical right due to history.
Is he related to Kamala?
Right.
Wow. Which may be a cause of resentment among delegates.
Yeah, they're like, you don't deserve anything.
Right. Furthermore, the Athens bid was described as arrogant and poorly prepared.
They pretty much went in there and was like, this is 100 years. Right. We're Athens. Give it to us.
That's us. Whoa, you guys got anything? No, man, we still got the same old old stadium.
We have the first stadium from the 1896 Olympics.
Oh, man.
That'd be cool if they did, but renovated it,
Right. That's ridiculous that these cities build these whole things and they just go away.
Oh, you go to a whole...
Brazil. What was that one in Rio de Janeiro?
You can go to a whole... you can spend 3-4 hours looking at abandoned Olympic cities, dude.
It's nuts.
And structures and shit.
Right.
Literally $1 million stadiums for use for 2 weeks, and then they just...
Dumb.
Go back to nature.
Well, okay, yeah. Being regarded as not being up to task of coping with the modern and risk-prone extravaganza. Yes. Right.
Yeah, Athens is not that big, dude.
No. Yeah. These guys, if they wanted to, they should have done some work years before to...
Well, I mean, they could have been like every other city. Most cities don't have all their shit in the same city anyway. It's always like...
somewhere else.
20 miles, 30 miles away and shit.
Right. Athens faced numerous obstacles, including political instability, potential security problems, air pollution. Well, they didn't care. They went to China.
Right.
Traffic congestion. Well, they didn't care. They went to L.A.
China.
And the fact that it would have to be spent about $3 billion to improve its infrastructure of airports, roads, rail lines, and other amenities.
Which every city does now.
Right. Athens would later be selected to host the 2004 Summer Olympics 7 years later on the 5th of September.
And as I recall, it's pretty damn successful.
Right. Yeah, the Athens one was good, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think wasn't Michael Phelps dominating in Athens? So
I don't know about 2004.
Fuck yeah, dude! He's been swimming for 20 years. Got 700 medals.
Oh yeah, Michael Phelps.
Oh yeah, Michael Phelps.
World record and Olympic records.
23 gold medals, dude. Yeah, with Atlanta winning the Olympic bid, it meant that they needed to build attractions, like they just said that Athens needed to do, but apparently Atlanta could. One of those that were built were the Centennial Olympic Park. That park property had previously been a variety of vacant lots and abandoned or rundown industrial buildings. The ACOG's chief executive, Billy Payne, conceived the park both as a central gathering location for visitors and spectators. Aren't they the same thing? Right. And during the Olympics, and as a lasting legacy for the city.
Is it, though?
With the park being the showcase to the world during the Olympics, the ACOG decided to hold a design competition to lay out and build the park.
Nice. Landscape architect, Edal. With the joint construction team of Beers and Russell, were selected to design and build the park by Georgia World Congress Center Authority.
What do they do with these names? Just say you're the...
Right. We're authority.
Park authority.
Just say we're authority. Centennial Olympic Park was constructed in 2 phases. Phase 1 of construction was completed July 1996, just in time for the 96 Olympics, at the cost of $28 million.
Stupid, dude.
During the Olympics, the park contained sponsor exhibits, hosted entertainment, and medal presentations, and was a hotbed for pin trading. Nice, trade some pins.
Oh, what a bunch of nerds out there trading pins and shit.
Right.
Eric Rudolph, by the way, they did do part 2 of the Centennial Park construction after the Olympics, and it was like another $15 million.
That's so
Stupid. That's the $40 million on a park. Dumb, dude.
Dumb.
Unfortunately, we have to profile the douchebag that did the bombs. Not much of a profile, though. I guess people don't really know much about him. Eric Rudolph, though, we know his name. He was born in Merritt Island, Florida.
Do we know that he actually did it, though?
Oh, we'll see. He was born in Merritt Island, Florida in 1966, and after his father Robert died in 1981, he moved with his mother and siblings to Nantahala, Macon County in western North Carolina.
Okay, Nantahala.
He attended 9th grade at the Nantahala School, but dropped out after that year and worked as a carpenter with his older brother Daniel.
Nice, look at that.
When Rudolph was 18, he spent time with his mother at a Christian identity compound, in Missouri, known as Church of Israel.
Oh, no. He went to a cult?
Advocates the belief that only Celtic and Germanic people, such as the Anglo-Saxon, Nordic, Aryan people are the true descendants of the Israelites, dude.
Wow. You got some crazy mofos, man. Got some crazy mofos in this world.
These are usually the ones that are the
white supremacists.
Yeah, the race gangs and prisons and shit.
Nuts.
Stupid.
Jeez.
All in the name of Christianity.
All in the name of Jesus.
Jesus told me to do this.
After Rudolph received his GED, oh, look at him, got his GED. He enlisted in the United States Army, undergoing basic training at Fort Benning in Georgia. He was discharged January 1989 due to marijuana use.
Why?
While serving with the 101st Airborne Division at Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Why did he get discharged?
For marijuana use.
Well, I know about marijuana. They were handing that shit out like candy in the 60s and shit.
That's the 60s and shit. That's the 80s and shit. It's crack down on drugs. Republicans running shit.
That's true.
1988, the year before his discharge, Rudolph had attended the Air Assault School at Fort Campbell.
That could be why, too. I mean, you're like flying and shit. Can't be under the influence.
Right. He attained the rank of Specialist E4.
Yeah, it's pretty much all we know about his early life until all this stuff. Now back to the Centennial Park. That was designed as the town square of the Olympics. Thousands of spectators had gathered for a late concert by the band Jack Mack and the Heart Attack. Sometime after midnight, Rudolph planted a green U.S. military Alice pack, which is a field pack containing 3 pipe bombs filled with smokeless powder, surrounded by 3-inch-long masonry nails. Jeez, dude. Trying to kill people, obviously, which caused most of the human injuries. I bet, dude. Right. Underneath a bench near the base of the concert sound tower. He then left the area. The pack had a directed charge and could have done more damage, but it was slightly moved at some point. Oh, so he pointed in one way, probably where most of the crowd was. Right. Somebody kicked it when they sat down or something. No. It used a steel plate as a directional device. Investigators later tied the Sandy Springs and other side lounge bombs together with this first device because they were all propelled with nitroglycerin dynamite used in alarm clock and Rubbermaid containers and contained steel plates.
No shit.
Ooh, Rubbermaid was hating that, dude. Like, don't. That was a knockoff. Say it was a knockoff.
All right, jeez. FBI agent David Johnson, people called him Woody, received notice that a call to 911 was placed about 18 minutes before the bomb detonated, warning that a bomb would go off at the park within 30 minutes by a white male with an indistinguishable American accent. Security guard Richard Jewell discovered the bag underneath the bench. Alerted Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
GBI.
Yep. Tom Davis of the GBI called in a bomb squad, including members of the ATF and FBI, to investigate the suspicious bag, which was leaning against the 40-foot NBC sound tower. NBC, too?
Just suspicious, huh? Jewel and other security guards began clearing the immediate area so that the bomb squad could investigate the suspicious package. The bomb detonated 2 to 3 minutes into the evacuation before all spectators could leave the area.
Dang.
The first one who gave the news live worldwide was the Italian reporter Ezio Luzzi, who was in Atlanta as a correspondent of RAI, which is Radio Television Italiana, for the Olympic Games that were taking place, obviously.
Okay, so we got that.
So Italy got that shit first. Huh?
Right. Italy's doing that shit right away, huh? Moreover, Luzzi was remembered many times in his books and interview what happened that day. He says, I was there, coordinating the Ray expedition, and an explosion happened while I was crossing the square. The blow threw me to the ground without injuring me. I got up thinking only of going back to the studio and telling the story. I arrived before CNN, before anyone else. Video of the explosion from a short distance away was captured by Robert Gee, a tourist from California, and later aired by CNN. Yeah. The sound of the explosion was also recorded by a news crew from the German public television network ARD, who were interviewing American swimmer Jeanette Evans at a nearby hotel.
Damn. Alice Hawthorne, 44, of Albany, Georgia, was the lone person killed in the explosion when a nail from the bomb penetrated her skull.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez, dude, 3 inches, too. Yeah. Cameraman with Turkish Radio and Television Corporation, Malay Uzunal, hope we got that right. He was 40 years old, who had survived coverage of wars in Azerbaijan, Bosnia, and the Persian Gulf, suffered a fatal heart attack while running to the scene.
No.
He was the one that
You know, them cameraman, he had to get the shot.
Yep, the bomb wounded 111 others. Meanwhile, President Clinton pushed Monica Lewinsky away for a second, and he denounced the explosion as an evil act of terror and vowed to do everything responsible to track down and punish those responsible.
Everything possible.
I said everything responsible. Everything possible to track down and punish those responsible.
Sure he was.
And he's like, no, keep going.
Don't stop. Despite the event, officials and athletes agreed that the game should continue as planned.
Yeah, dude, they screwed that.
Right.
One person was only killed.
Right. Though Richard Jewell was hailed as a hero for his role in discovering the bomb and moving spectators to safety, news organizations later reported that Jewell was considered a potential suspect in the bombing.
Yeah.
4 days afterward, and shortly after a brief mistaken detainment of 2 juvenile persons of interest at the Kensington MARTA station, Jewell at the time was unknown to authorities, and a lone wolf profile made sense to FBI investigators after they were contacted by his former employer at Piedmont College.
Damn, so Piedmont College was like, this dude's sketchy. Look into him.
Right. You might want to check this guy out.
All right. Jewell was named a person of interest, although he was never arrested. His home was searched, his background exhaustively investigated, and he became the subject of intense media interest and surveillance, including a media siege of his home. Media's a bunch of trash, dude.
Yeah, the garbage.
October 26, 1996, the U.S. Attorney General in Atlanta, Kent Alexander, sent Jewell a letter saying, based on the evidence developed to date, Richard Jewell is not considered to be a target of the federal criminal investigation. So it went from July to October. He's getting all this hate.
Right.
The letter did not include an apology, but in a separate statement issued by Alexander, the U.S. Justice Department regretted the leaking of the investigation. Sure you do. You know you regret it because you're about to get some lawsuits on all your asses.
Well, the separately issued statement said that Jewell endured highly unusual and intense publicity that was neither designed nor desired by the FBI. Yeah, right. And in fact, interfered with the investigation. And that the public should bear in mind that Richard Jewell has at no time been charged with any crime in connection with the bombing, and the property that was seized during the court-authorized search of his house, they will be returned.
Have been returned.
Oh, have been returned. New York Times reported that the statement was highly unusual because it was a tactic admission by FBI that they had been wrong in their suspicion of Mr. Jewell.
So?
At a press conference in July 1997, U.S. Attorney General Janet Reno expressed personal regret over the leak that led to intense scrutiny of Jewell. She said, "I'm very sorry it happened. I think we owe an apology. I regret the leak." They still never apologized.
I regret the leak.
Right, how's that?
Did the guy get fired? Whoever leaked it out to the press? Did they get fired? Probably not.
That's very Janet Reno.
Oh, exactly. She was probably the one that directed the leak. After Jewell was cleared, the FBI admitted it had no other suspects, and the investigation made little progress until early 1997, when 2 more bombings took place, one at an abortion clinic and a lesbian nightclub.
Oh, shit.
Both in the Atlanta area. Similarities in the bomb design allowed investigators to conclude that this was the work of the same perp.
Or a copycat.
Oh, yeah. Well, how would you know how the bomb was specifically made, though?
True.
One more bombing of an abortion clinic, this time in Birmingham, Alabama, which killed a policeman.
Oh, shit.
Working as security guard and seriously injured nurse Emily Lyons. That gave the FBI the crucial clues, including a partial license plate. Getting somewhere now.
Well, you know what? Georgia... the police station should be sued anyway because there's no reason this guy's going out there being a police officer and have to take a second job as a security guard.
What does that got to do with anything?
Risk their lives for us. So then they have to work 2 jobs.
I'm sure he gets paid probably better money than being a security guard.
He probably gets paid $30,000 a year to be a cop.
To be a cop?
Maybe 50.
No, cops are making like 70.
Hells knows.
$55,000 per year average. Over $15,000 more than the average annual salary of anybody else. Well, this was April 2022 or 2020. $67,000 is the average.
The plate and the other clues led the FBI to identify Eric Robert Rudolph, carpenter and handyman, as a suspect. May 5th, 1998, Cinco de Mayo. All the Mexicans running around in their sombreros and drinking their cervezas. The FBI named him.
More like all the white people running around in their sombreros drinking their cervezas.
That's true. May 5th, 1998, FBI named him as one of its most top 10 wanted people and offered a $1 million reward for information leading directly to his arrest.
Directly. They're like,
directly.
You gave us information, but it didn't directly lead to his arrest, so no million for you.
No million. October 14th, 1998, Department of Justice formally named Rudolph as its suspect in all 4 bombings. After more than 5 years on the run, Rudolph was arrested in Murphy, North Carolina on the 31st of May in 2003 by a rookie police officer, Jeffrey Scott Paulstall of the Murphy Police Department. Good for him.
Good for you, Murphy.
While Rudolph was looking through a dumpster behind a Save-A-Lot store at about 4 a.m., Paulstall, on routine patrol, had initially suspected a burglary in progress. Oh, shit.
Why?
This boy didn't know what he was about to get.
I mean, I get it's 4 in the morning, but why are you out looking through dumpsters at 4 in the morning?
Right.
It's even more suspicious. Do it in the daytime. Nobody gives a shit.
Right.
Rudolph was unarmed and did not resist arrest. When arrested, he was clean-shaven with a trimmed mustache.
Oh, nice. Good for
Had
him.
dyed black hair and wore a camouflage jacket, work clothes, and new sneakers. Jeez. Federal authorities charged him on October 14, 2003, and he got caught on May. Jeez, it just took that long to charge him?
Dang.
Rudolph was initially defended by attorney Richard S. Jaff. After Jaff withdrew, he was represented by Judy Clark.
Oh, look at that, Judy
If
Clark.
I was a lawyer, I'd be like, I'm not representing nobody, bitch.
Right. Oh.
April 8, 2005, the Department of Justice announced that Rudolph had agreed to a plea bargain under which he would plead guilty to all charges he was accused of in exchange for avoiding the death penalty.
Oh, damn.
The deal was confirmed after the FBI found 250 pounds of dynamite he had hidden in the forests of North Carolina.
Oh, no.
His revealing the hiding places of the dynamite was a condition of his plea agreement. He made his pleas in person in Birmingham and Atlanta courts on April 13th.
Jeez.
Same day.
Get the guy a death penalty anyway.
Right.
Rudolph's justification for the bombings, according to his April 13, 2005 statement, was political. In the summer of 1996, the world converged upon Atlanta for the Olympic Games. Under protection and auspices of the regime in Washington, millions of people came to celebrate the ideals of global socialism. Multinational corporations spent billions of dollars, and Washington organized an army of security to protect the best of the games. Even though the conception and purpose of the so-called Olympic movement is to promote the values of global socialism, as perfectly expressed in the song Imagine by John Lennon, which was the theme of the 1996 Games, even though the purpose of the Olympics is to promote those ideals, the purpose of the attack on July 27th was to confound, anger, and embarrass the Washington government in the eyes of the world for its sanctioning of abortion on demand. The plan was to force the cancellation of the Games, or at least create a state of insecurity to empty the streets around the venues and thereby eat into the vast amounts of money invested. I mean, I get it. He's like, all right, let's make these guys look like a fool.
He wanted to force the cancellation of the games. Well, you should have killed more than one person, I guess.
He tried.
That's true. Oh, damn, Richard Jewell. And he called it in. What a moron. The terms of the plea agreement were that Rudolph would be sentenced to 4 consecutive life terms. He was sentenced July 18, 2005 to 2 consecutive life terms without parole for the 98 murder of a police officer in Birmingham. Then he was sentenced for his bombings in Atlanta on August 22nd, 2005, receiving 2 consecutive life terms. That same day, Rudolph was sent to the ADX Florence Supermax federal prison. Like other Supermax inmates, he spends 23 hours per day alone in his 80-square-foot concrete cell.
That is just, wow. Whatever, man. I'll take it.
23 hours a day alone, dude.
You don't have to worry about getting beat up and
Yeah,
all
and
that
you know,
stuff.
when they go outside, they're in a cage.
By
A
themselves.
single cage.
Still by themselves. Yeah, man. Just like that movie, Shot Caller, I think it was. Okay, that's some crazy stuff there. I don't know, man. I don't know. I might dig it. Are you allowed to have books and stuff?
Of course.
About TV?
I don't know.
TV.
I bet you they do.
They might. Some books and media outlets, like NPR radio program On Point, have described Rudolph as a Christian identity extremist. Harper's Magazine referred to him as a Christian terrorist. The Voice of America reported that Rudolph could be seen as part of an attempt to try to use a Christian faith and try to forge a kind of racial and social purity. Oh, jeez. Writing in 2004, authors Michael Shermer and Dennis McFarlane saw Rudolph's story as an example of religious extremism in the United States, warning that the phenomenon he represented was particularly potent when gathered together under the umbrella of militia groups.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it could be.
You get any ideology under any militia groups. And
Right.
it's the same damn thing.
You get some ideology, and then you put guns in the mix. Whew.
Right.
Ask Jim Jones. Oh, wait.
Meanwhile, the Anti-Defamation League noted that extremist chatter on the internet has praised Rudolph as a hero, and some followers of hate groups are calling for further acts of violence to be modeled after the bombings he is accused of committing.
I believe that.
Yeah. In a letter to his mother from prison, Rudolph has written, he says, "Many good people continue to send me money and books. Most of them have, of course, an agenda. Most of them are mostly born-again Christians looking to save my soul.
Right.
I suppose the assumption is made because I'm in here. I must be a sinner in need of salvation, and they would be glad to sell me a ticket to heaven.
Oh, look at that.
I do appreciate their charity, but I could really do without the condescension. Condescension. They have been so nice, I would hate to break it to them that I really prefer the Nietzsche to the Bible.
Okay.
Okay.
Look at that guy. Nevertheless, Rudolph has said, the truth is, I am a Christian. Rudolph remained unrepentant for his actions, and in a statement
So
for
you're
the
not
court,
a Christian.
Right. In a statement for the court, called his acts against abortion providers a moral duty.
Weird.
As I go to a prison cell for a lifetime, I know that I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Rudolph said, quoting scripture.
Essays written by Rudolph that condone violence and militant action have been published on the internet by an army of God anti-abortion activists. Although victims maintain that Rudolph's messages are harassment and could incite violence, the prison can do little to restrict their publication. According to Alice Martin, who was the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama, when Rudolph was prosecuted for the Alabama bombing, she says an inmate does not lose his freedom of speech.
Yeah. Anybody that goes to prison, you lose all rights. I'm sorry. You have no rights no more.
Well, I mean, you can't torture them.
No, you got your human rights, but you don't have no rights of like speech.
Isn't freedom of speech a human right?
No, it's not.
If you look at it, some people would say it is.
A free person, a free human of right.
Right, how can you have freedom of speech when you don't have freedom of
Anything.
society?
Sorry. No. Everything.
No, they can't stop him. They can't stop him from writing whatever he wants. But I would be like, no, you're a prisoner. You can't get. It should be illegal to publish things as a prisoner, as a felon,
Right. You can write all you want.
or at least a lifer.
Right. You can write all you want, bud. We'll say we're going to publish it. How would you know?
Right? How would he know?
As reported in an April 8, 2013 Alabama blog article, Rudolph's book Between the Lines of Drift, The Memoirs of a Militant, was published. With help from his brother by Lulu.com.
Online print on demand, self-publishing,
Self-publishing.
and distribution.
That's how they did it.
Wow,
That's how they did it.
do they have no controversies? I'm surprised how much random extremist shit gets published through these guys.
Oh, dude. Crazy. April 2013, the United States Attorney General seized $200 to help pay off the $1 million that Rudolph owes in restitution to the state of Alabama. The book has been since republished and has been made available.
So he made $200 off his book initially, and the Attorney General was like, "Nope, you still owe $1 million, dude."
Yeah, so maybe that's why they let him do it, so they can get some money.
They should have, right?
Right.
Let him sell this shit.
Right.
Then get his money back, and as soon as he hits that $1 million payback, take his shit off the shelves.
Right. Well, anyway, they republished the book and has been made available through the Army of God website. Rudolph unsuccessfully tried to have part of his sentence vacated in 2021.
Meanwhile, Richard Jewell ain't done yet, because after he was dropped as a suspect, Jewell filed libel suits against the FBI, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, CNN. Gee, CNN just been getting sued forever, huh?
He did a Kyle Rittenhouse.
Right. The New York Post and Piedmont College. Yeah, Piedmont College should be the first one. They're the ones that even said anything.
Right.
Jewell sued the Atlanta Journal-Constitution because, according to him, the paper's headline, which read, FBI suspects hero guard may have planted the bomb. He said it pretty much started the whirlwind.
Right.
In one article, the Journal-Constitution compared Jewell's case to that of a serial killer, Wayne Williams.
Oh, geez. You guys will hear about Wayne Williams?
Wayne Williams. Oh, the child murders. Oh, yeah, dude. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Atlanta Journal-Constitution needs to definitely pay this guy some money, comparing him to a guy who was going around murdering a bunch of kids. Dude. I mean, that's just ignorant. Sensational-ass headlines.
The newspaper was the only defendant that did not settle with Jewell. The lawsuit remained pending for several years, having been considered at one time by the Supreme Court of Georgia, and had become an important part of case of law regarding whether journalists could be forced to reveal their sources.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you be able to? Why wouldn't you make them?
Right. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't you? Jewell's estate continued to press the case even after his death in 2007. But in July 2011, the Georgia Court of Appeals ruled for the defendant. That's so stupid. The court concluded that because the articles in their entirety were substantially true at the time they were published, even though the investigators' suspicions were ultimately deemed unfounded, they cannot form the basis of a defamation lawsuit.
I mean, I guess written in the moment where even law enforcement was searching this dude's house and seizing his property and shit.
I mean, can see if they kept on putting out articles after
even
articles.
after, right?
Right, articles after articles, but just that one, and then, what can you do, man?
If you're reporting real-time stuff, I mean...
Tom Brady should sue the TMZ then.
Everybody should sue TMZ then. Although CNN settled Juul's libel suit for an undisclosed monetary amount, CNN maintained that its coverage had been fair and accurate. Juul sued NBC News for this statement made by Tom Brokaw. The speculation is that the FBI is close to making the case. They probably have enough to arrest him right now, probably enough to prosecute him, but you always want to have enough to convict him as well. There are still some holes in this case.
Which is everything.
Even though NBC stood by its story, the network agreed to pay Juul $500,000.
Yeah, of course they are.
Jay Leno also apologized during a Tonight Show episode on October 28, 1996. Sure. You know they made him.
I'm sure he did a little skit making fun of him or something. That's why he apologized. Or they made him apologize for the network.
NBC made him, yeah.
Oh, they made Jay Leno do it?
Yeah. Well, no, it was probably in the suit. It was like, I want an apology from fucking Jay Leno's bitch ass, too.
You tell Jay.
On air.
Right. July 23rd, 1997. Juul sued the New York Post for $15 million in damages, contending that the paper portrayed him in articles, photographs, and editorial cartoon as an aberrant person with a bizarre employment history, who was probably guilty of the bombing.
Probably guilty.
He eventually settled with the newspaper for an undisclosed amount of money.
Oh, he got a couple millions.
You know it. Juul filed a suit against his former employer, Piedmont College.
Yeah.
Its president, Raymond Clear, and college spokesman, Scott Rawls. So both of those guys and the college.
Yeah.
Damn. Juul's attorneys contended that Clear called the FBI and spoke to the Atlanta newspapers, providing them with false information on Juul and his employment there as a security guard.
Yeah, snitches.
Juul's lawsuit accused Clear of describing Juul as a badge-wearing zealot.
Wow.
Who would write epic police reports for minor infractions. Epic police report. Nice.
He probably did, too. It was like, the suspect the suspect turned 90 degrees into the roadway and initiated a jaywalk, and he was probably all extravagant with his descriptions. And
he liked his job, right?
Man, I guess. Well, no, it seems like a little tyrant.
Right.
Just writing up everybody. He's like a damn mall cop, dude.
Right. The college, they settled for an undisclosed amount.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. 2006, Juul said the lawsuits were not about money. Well, a little bit about money. And that
do a lawsuit.
Right. And that the vast majority of the settlements went to lawyers or taxes. Probably. He said the lawsuits were about clearing his name. But the FBI already cleared his name. 2006, Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue honored Juul for his rescue efforts during the attack and publicly thanked him for saving people's lives. Perdue said that Juul deserves to be remembered as a hero. In the years after the bombing, Juul worked in various law enforcement jobs, including a police officer in Pendergrass, Georgia.
Nice.
He worked as a deputy sheriff in Meriwether County, Georgia, until his death.
Nice.
He also gave speeches at colleges.
Fantastic. Look at that. So you got the...
Ironically, the speeches at colleges probably paid more than a year's salary as being a police officer.
Yeah.
Dude. Look at Hillary and Bill. Dudes are getting like $1 million to go do speeches.
Man. July 30th, 1997, Juul testified before a subcommittee of the U.S. House of Representatives, in which he called for an independent investigation into methods used by the FBI during their investigation of him.
Yeah, well.
He appeared in Michael Moore's 97 film, The Big One. He had a cameo in the September 27, 1997 episode of Saturday Night Live, in which he jokingly fended off suggestions that he was responsible for the deaths of Mother Teresa and Diana and Princess of Wales.
Diana is a Princess of Wales. Diana and the Princess of Wales.
Oh, shit. Juul married Dana Juul.
That wasn't her name when you married her, obviously.
Right. Juul married Dana in 1998.
Just Dana. What do I call you, Dana?
They remained married until his death, obviously. The couple moved to a farm they bought together in south of Atlanta.
Together, my ass. Well, I don't know. He didn't get no money until like 2004, so... 2001, Juul was honored as the Grand Marshal of Carmel, Indiana's Independence Day Parade. Don't know why, all the way in Carmel, Indiana.
What the hell?
Juul was chosen in keeping with the parade's theme of unsung heroes. Okay, now I know why. Each anniversary of the bombing until his illness and eventual death, he privately placed a rose at the Centennial Olympic Park scene where spectator Alice Hawthorne died.
All right.
Good for you, bud.
All right. Juul had been diagnosed with diabetes February 2007, suffered kidney failure, and other medical problems related to his diagnosis in the following months.
Yeah, if you ever seen a picture of him, of course he's got diabetes.
Yeah. His wife, Dana, found him dead on the floor of their bedroom when she came home from work on August 29th, 2007. He was 44. An autopsy found the cause of death to be severe heart disease and diabetes and related complications as a contributing factor. Yeah, heart disease. I wonder why.
Sad, right? Sad little guy, huh?
Dude looked like he ate 2 boxes of pizza a day.
He wasn't that big. A monument honoring Richard Jewell as well as other law enforcement and first responders was dedicated in November 2021 at the Quilt of Remembrance in Centennial Olympic Park.
Nice.
Good for you, Richard Jewell. He's also been portrayed in a film called Jewel. It was called Richard Jewell.
Right.
Released in the United States December 13, 2019. It was directed and produced by Clint Eastwood. Written by Billy Ray. Based on a 1997 article, American Nightmare, the Ballad of Richard Jewell by Marie Brenner. And the book, The Suspect in Olympic Bombing, the FBI, the Media, and Richard Jewell, the man caught in the middle. Too long of a...
Terrible.
Too long of a title by Kent Alexander and Kevin Solwyn. And it took 2 guys to write it. In the movie, the Jewel is played by Paul Walter Hauser.
I wonder if that's Cole's relation.
The 2020 season 2 of the crime drama anthology series Manhunt, also called Manhunt Deadly Games, centers on the story of the Centennial Park bombing and the other bombs planted by Rudolph. Richard Jewell is portrayed by Cameron Brighton. I could see it more than the other guy.
Right.
Reference is made to the unjust allegations against Richard Jewell based on a psychological profile on the television series Criminal Minds.
Oh.
Season 3, Episode 1, in case you're wondering. That's the story of the Atlanta Olympic bombing. Honestly, when I was looking this up, I thought there would be a little more
Detail.
in-depth research and stuff that people had out, but it's just straight to the point bullshit.
All right.
Nothing really much about backgrounds, really, of Jewell or Rudolph, for that matter, or how, like the Unabomber and all the the bombing stuff that we have. We always had the background of how the bombs were made and what he did to collect that stuff, and we didn't have none of that in this, so I don't know.
You know why?
Well,
You know why?
Well, some say the Oklahoma City bombing was an inside job too, and we got all that shit. We could cover 9/11 and shit. That'd be a 10-part series. We could do 9/11. It is a criminal thing, right?
That's it.
Sit.
So just
Figured we had to get it out of the way though, because
it just goes to show that they should have never put the Olympics in Atlanta.
Or what's that one place where the Olympics got hostages? Was it?
What the fuck was that?
Was it Berlin?
I might have been.
Pretty sure it was.
Might have been
Munich.
Munich. Yeah.
Munich. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, can't do that.
No. Idiots. Idiots.
Idiots. Yeah, I figured we had to knock this one out just because tomorrow, the day we're recording this, tomorrow is the anniversary. We should have put it out for last week's episode, but what are you going to do,
What are you going to do?
Upcoming, though, I think this will probably be released August, what's 26, 4, 5, probably August 2nd. Maybe next week we'll have something, I don't know yet, but probably the next 2 weeks after that will be Ruby Ridge, because that takes place, starts on August 21st.
Right.
And by the time we get to the second episode of that one, it'll be around that date. So
Right.
I think we'll have one more episode of something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then Ruby Ridge coming up. And who knows what's after that.
All kinds of stuff still.
Still lots of stuff. There's so much stuff to go through.
So much.
You, however, can give us suggestions of what you want by either emailing us at bangdangpodcast@gmail.com, letting us know what you want us to cover of stuff we haven't covered, or some other interesting topics that you think we should do. Or you can go to our brand new Discord by clicking the link that's going to be in this profile of the episode. Click that link and click accept. If you don't have Discord, it's a little app that you can it's a little app. Basically, people have communities on there, and they get on there and they chat with their communities, I guess you could say. We could talk anything from our shows to sports to other history stuff to politics to news to TV shows, movies, music, anything else like that. All over there on Discord, one big happy family of degenerates that like history.
I guess, right?
And stuff.
Right.
We can also do video chats if we get enough people in there and do cool stuff like that down the road. So Discord, click that link in this description and come hang out, have some fun, and also go check out our other shows, Battles of American Civil War, where we're in like end of March-ish, creeping up on the Battle of Shiloh coming up in a couple weeks, but 1862, March of 1862, we're getting into the thick of things. And Confederates are on their heels. They have not won shit.
Yeah, it's not looking good for these guys. The war should be over by now, honestly.
It should. Yeah, the war should have been over, like, immediately.
It's ridiculous. It's going to last another 3.5 years.
Yeah, and get bloodier and bloodier and bloodier. But that's where we're at. Battles of the American Civil War, wherever you get your podcasts. Yeah, we'll be back next week for some other riveting true crime.
Riveting?
Riveting. We're the Mouth of Michiganders with
Bang Dang.